Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for a dynamic effort bench press day. But a quick reminder for those of you who watch these videos, please remember to click like down below, it would be greatly appreciated. So what I'm doing now that I'm back over to conjugate, you guys will notice that like I did in my last phases of conjugate, and what I do with a lot of my clients, I take the mat winning approach to speed work, in that I go very, very light. I go very light on the bar weight, and I tend to go real heavy on the bands and chains. And what we do is that we use a weight that is light enough that we can hit at least 1 meter per second on the speed. And for the benching today, I went with just a straight bar, normal straight bar. We went with chains. This would be the simplest setup I do, which works for week one of coming back to it. So I do 9 sets of 3. And every third set we change grips. So I go pinkies on the rings. I'm calling it wide grip, but it really isn't. Pinkies on the rings for the first 3, then a medium grip, which is midway between the rings and the knurl for the next 3. And then the final 3 sets, I go with close grip, which would be the index finger right by the smooths, right? And again, it's standardized stuff on this bar because this is using the Texas Power Bar, which is the same bar I benched with at the last 2 meets down here in Texas, and I believe this may be the same stuff they're using at Worlds. Although Nationals, I think they'll have the Kabuki stuff, but I'm not doing it this year. So today, the name of the game is going to be Triceps and Delts. Right? We were a little more pec focused on max effort bench day. A lot of tricep work. We're still getting chest work today, but if you guys notice, close grip bench, speed bench, those are my 2 chest exercises for the day. But close grip bench is going to be a little bit more tricep dominant. Got to bring the triceps up. We've got to bring the triceps up. And so there are some changes a little bit from this week, or as far as the max effort to the dynamic effort for my assistance and accessory work. So we did 5 sets of 10 with the closed grip bench, pausing on the chest on most reps, coming to a dead stop. And I think on the last set, I ended up pushing a couple more reps to see if I could get some more, even though I get real fatigued at this point because I've already done the speed bench, and then I'm coming in and not taking super long breaks and cranking out 5 sets of 10, with a weight that's actually pretty light for the first set, but it starts getting real fatiguing near the end. So on this, again, 5 by 10 with some plus reps at the end. I think I got like maybe 12 or something. I don't know. I forget. Doesn't matter as long as I got some. And so this is what we did. Again, triceps. So you'll notice later in here I finish off with 6 sets of band press downs. So when you think about it, this is 11 sets for triceps, not counting the speed bench. So again, we went really hard on triceps this time. Whereas in the last workout we did, the first assistance lift was pinkies on the rings, a little bit wider of a grip, using the buffalo bar, which again puts a deep stretch on the chest, right? Deep stretch on the chest. In this case today though, just using the standard power bar for a normal closed grip bench. Right, just doing a normal closed grip bench, nothing special. Just like our speed work today, chains is a little less complicated than bands. Oh, also, you guys will notice, look at my rack. I converted the rack yesterday, finally got everything I needed to open base, and you guys will see why later. It gives me the option to set up more band positions, right? Because I was really limited due to the spacing, the hole spacing. There were a lot fewer holes using that closed base at the bottom. And doing sumo against bands and stuff inside there is just impossible. In fact, even wide stance box squats for speed, my feet would sometimes hurt pressed right up against the edges of those things. Now I can get my toes all the way to those points at the edges of the rack. So for my speed lower, it's going to be real handy. And for the upper, the same thing. It'll give me more adjustment. I have a lot more holes just in the middle, and then even off those support legs off the side. So today I decided to do some actual rows standing, not chest supported. We went with the axle bar though, which means I'm going to be forced to handle a slightly lighter weight just because of the grip, but we're still working the back. And that's the thing to keep in mind. I'm doing a lot of variations of stuff, and I'm doing the pull-ups still in the mornings a lot, which you guys are seeing the videos come up. And every workout this week, I've done some type of row. A lot of them are harder, they're chest supported, and they've really hammered the lats and upper back harder. This one incorporates a little more grip in forearm using the fat bar. It still works the upper and middle back, but it challenges the grip a lot more. So we do want to keep that grip strong. I do need a monstrous grip for my deadlift. Make sure it doesn't become a limiting factor. And it's not going to, especially if I'm throwing in a little bit of axle bar work, all the pull-ups, all the rowing, all the pulling we're doing. My grip and my forearm should be real good from all of this. But I did 5 sets of 12 on this. And the last set, again, picked a weight that I knew would be pretty challenging near the end. And I can kind of base that on the first set. That's why I do a rep count and got to 12 and said, okay, yeah, it's going to be sets of 12 because the last set's going to be hard. The last set's going to be difficult. And it was. So again, even though this is going to be a fairly shoulder and tricep dominant day today, we're still working the back. We're still working the pecs. They're all being worked. And keep in mind, I did those pull-ups this morning on camera first too. So we ended up with about 6 sets of pulling for the back. And then we get into all the shoulder work. Again, very shoulder intensive day. I went with my upright rows again. And did try to get some extra reps on the last set. I used the same setup as last time, but I added 5 more pounds. Mainly because I knew that I could based upon my ability to do extra reps at the end last time. So we went up 5 pounds. And I know I'll probably be able to bump the weight again next time on these, getting used to the movement again. All around shoulder builder. Works all 3 heads of the delt, and it works the upper trap. So again, great exercise for just building up the overall shoulders. Of course, I did change the shoulder work slightly today. That is often the nature of conjugate. We pick the exercises we think are going to work, what we need to work. We always adjust a little bit. And as long as we have a general upward trend in our movements, it doesn't matter. As long as next time you come back to any of these exercises again, even if you're changing them often, as long as you kind of know what you were doing and you can increase on them, we're still seeing the progressive overload. And again, as long as we are inside of our definite effective rep zone for enough volume, which you can assess by feel if you're a more advanced lifter, right? You can assess by feel as a more advanced lifter. It's actually okay, but there does need to be some progressive overload there over time. But again, you can notice that based upon your ability to handle a little heavier weight as you do the movement again. And I'm not saying we have to increase it all the time either. You can go weeks at a time sometimes without increasing the weight on the bar, as long as it's challenging enough, and continue to make gains in muscle mass. Again, there's a general upward trend, especially for advanced lifters. Advanced lifters, it can be very difficult to add 10 pounds to the bar on an exercise. It could take a long time. But again, for rotating movements a little bit, it helps with that, and then it helps with overuse. And that's the other thing with the amount of training volume I'm doing weekly now. I do need to watch the overuse, so we do need some variation. Then I did, instead of laterals, because we did lateral raises with dumbbells on Monday, I went with plate front raises. Why? It still works the whole shoulder girdle, just it's far more focused on the front delts and upper traps. Still works all of it. But again, a little bit of front delt focus for my benching isn't a bad thing, because the posterior side and everything's getting a ton of work. Think about all the rowing and the pull-ups I do right now. Okay, that's getting plenty of work. We need to make sure that the front delts are coming along. All right, make sure that they are coming along. Even though they do get worked on presses, I need to make sure everything is fully developed. I need my delts and my triceps to just blow up. I need them to get a lot bigger again, and they were bigger. If you guys look at the old footage when I was benching over 350 on closed grip, either of the times that I was at that point before I got hurt, what did you see? They were all bigger. Actually, even my pecs were bigger, even though then I was doing mostly closed grip. And, people will say, well, what happens if you turn out stronger with closed grip again? Then I'll just closed grip at meets. If I do all of this more balanced training and I still turn out stronger on closed grip, I may give up some of the balance training and just focus on close grip. And then we finished the day with the band press downs. Again, taking all the sets pretty close to failure based upon how they feel. But we actually got a lot of reps. Even on the first set, it was a little more than I often get. And I think it's because I didn't do any real smaller tricep work first. I didn't do J-arm presses. I just did the close grip. So again, we didn't see that happen this time. But I wanted to get plenty of tricep work. And bands are very easy on recovery. So I went ahead and did 6 sets of these instead of just stopping at 5. We did 6 total sets, and we got at least 20 reps on all of them, and a couple of the sets we took to pretty much failure. So again, this will help add a little bit more tricep development. It definitely gives them a pump, gives some blood flow. It's good for the tendons in the elbows, which we need sometimes. I did notice my elbows and elbow tendons were slightly inflamed the last couple of days after the J-arm presses, so this will let me do that in place of it, so that hopefully when the next workout rolls around, the next upper day, that my J-arm presses are hopefully a little bit stronger, and I don't feel anything in my tendons. And that's the idea. Every workout we're going to finish with these band press downs, all of my upper workouts, just to make sure that we get extra tricep work, make sure that the triceps work isn't giving me any elbow tendonitis, because again, this helps with elbow health. But overall, very, very good day. So I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.